TitanX, like any other ERC20 token, you can buy it off Uniswap, sell it, or just hold it in your MetaMask wallet. But unlike other ERC20 tokens, you can also create your own TitanX supply by starting a miner. Check my other video if you want to know how to do that. And also, you can start a stake if you have TitanX in your wallet, whether from mining or buying off the Uniswap market, and earn yield in ETH as a staker. Soon, you can also burn your liquid TitanX supply for Hyper. At the time of this recording, Hyper hasn't launched yet. More in future videos. In this video, we're going to look in detail how the staking system works. Let's start with an analogy from the stock market. Here's a tweet I made. By the way, follow me under Mike Dean Live on Twitter. Staking TitanX is akin to investing in a stock that pay dividends. You normally pay dollars to buy your shares of a company and you receive the dividends either quarterly, annually, or semi-annually. In TitanX, you pay TitanX to buy shares and receive yield in ETH every 8, 28, 90, 369, and 888 days. But how does it work in the stock market with dividends? Let's look at this simple example. First, dividends in the stock market are payments made by a company to its shareholders as a portion of the company's profits. Let's say a company has issued 1 million shares. You hold 100,000 of those shares and the company makes 200,000 profits a year. And the board of directors choose to distribute that 100,000 to the current shareholders. The dividend calculation will be as follows. The $100,000 divided by 1 million outstanding shares gets you $0.1 per share. And since you own 100,000 shares, you're going to multiply that by 0.1 and you'll receive $10,000 as dividend. Since you hold 10% of all shares, you receive 10% of the distribution. You might ask, who can actually create new shares in a company in the stock market? And that's the board of directors. So a company can actually issue new shares to raise capital. And yes, that also means new issuance of shares cause a reduction in the ownership percentage of those who currently hold the shares in the company, the shareholders. In most cases, the current shareholders vote if the company can issue new shares. In TitanX, who can create new shares? It's basically anyone who owns TitanX tokens, whether through mining or purchase of Uniswap. A quick overview, what happens if you create a new TitanX stake. So when you start a TitanX stake, your TitanX tokens actually get burned. So they're removed out of the supply completely. And for the duration of your stake, you can earn the liquid ETH in the payout cycles. And at the end of your stake duration, you can remint your TitanX tokens. In the stock market, for a company to pay you dividends, they have to make a profit. So how does that work in TitanX? Well, starting a TitanX miner costs ETH plus time, and 28% of that ETH goes to the TitanX stakers' rolling payout cycles. And that ETH is split among 5 payout pools. And the percentages are 28, 28, 18, 18, and 8%. And it's for every 8-day payout, every 28 payout, every 90-day payout, 369-day payout, and every 888-day payout. Let's have a quick look when the payout cycles occur. And if you found any value in this video, please like, share, comment below, subscribe with the bell. The first thing, the contract day ticks over to the next day every day at 7:15 a.m. GMT time. And here are the columns for the different payout cycles. And you can see on the day 8, that was the 4th of November 2023, there was the 8-day payout. And on day 16, day 24, and you can see day 28, there was the 28-day payout. That was on the 24th of November. And at the time of this video recording, it's the 28th of November 2023, and it's day 32, and it's actually a 8-day payout. One thing to notice as well, for instance, day 56, the 8-day payout and the 28-day payout occurs on the same day. And if we scroll down, we can see it also happens on the day 112, day 224, and so forth. We did the dividend calculation earlier for the stock market. Let's now do for TitanX. It's very similar. What you call outstanding shares in the stock market is global active shares in TitanX. So as an example, these are fictional values for illustration. Let's say the global active shares is 1 million. You hold 100,000 of those shares, which you bought using TitanX, whether you bought it off the market on Uniswap or through mining. And the next payout cycle, there is 100 ETH. Difference to the stock market, there is no board of directors, there's only code. So as long as you have shares before the payout cycle, you are entitled to the payout calculation. So 100 ETH divided by the global active shares, which is 1 million shares, that gives you 0.0001 ETH per share. And that times your shareholding of 100,000, that's 10 ETH you can claim on the payout. Since you hold 10% of all shares, you receive 10% of the distribution. Let's look at the difference between the TitanX shares to shares in the stock market. So when you create TitanX shares, your MetaMask address gets tracked by the smart contract having those shares. So unlike the stock market, you can't resell those shares. They are tied to your address. And then the other thing, the share rate or the share price priced in TitanX goes up 0.03% every day based on the day before. So in this graph, you can see how much TitanX is required to create one share. Right at the beginning, it was 800, and this keeps going up every day, 0.03%. And the cap, it's around 2,800 TitanX per share. And the day, it's going to be around 4,177. And when creating TitanX shares, you specify the stake amount and the stake length. There is also two bonuses which apply. Stake amount, which is called the bigger pays more bonus, and on the stake length, which is called the longer pays more bonus. The minimum length is 28 days and the maximum length is 3,500 days. Let's look at the bigger pays more bonus. The bigger you stake, the more shares you get. And this is capped at 8% for maximum of 100 billion TitanX in one stake. So this is linear. As you can see here, if you stake, for instance, 12.5 billion, you're going to get 1%. The bonus, as you can see, it goes to maximum 8% at 100 billion. And then if you stake more, you get no bonuses. So instead of doing many little shares, I would advise to create one big share to maximize your bonus. Let's jump to the bigger pays more bonus. This bonus starts at 0% and it goes all the way up to 350%. So you get more shares up to day 2,888. You can stake for longer, 3,500 days, but the bonus shares you get up to day 2,888. Here's the graph with the illustration. Here are the staking days. So the minimum is day 28. You also get a bonus there already. And then it goes all the way up to 350% at day 2,888, and then it's 0% bonus if you stake for longer. You do not need to calculate it all by yourself. You can visit the app at app.titanx.win and select stake, and you can play around here with the amount and also the stake length. And when you manipulate these two, you can see here how much more share bonuses you're going to get, and you can see how much shares you're going to get at the end. If you're interested how much ETH you're going to get in the next payout, visit the tools calculator and TitanX Win staking. And here as well, you can start manipulating the amount and the length, and then you can see what kind of payouts you're going to get in the payout cycles. Obviously, this is just a snapshot with the current share rate, but if more people create shares, obviously these values are going to go down. When you start your stake, you have to end your stake at some point. There's three ways to go about it. Either you end it on time, premature end stake it, or late end stake. When you end your stake on time, you get 100% of your TitanX staked back. And if you premature end stake, there's penalties. One thing regarding premature end stake, the stakes are not allowed to be ended before 50% maturity. So ending your stake between 50% to 99.9% maturity, you're going to lose 50% of your TitanX staked. They will get burned, and you will get 50% of the TitanX stake back. There is also the late end stake penalty. You have 1 week grace period, then you start losing some of your TitanX. So on the first day, you're late for 1 day, you lose 1%, and it keeps going up to 100 days where you lose 99%. Conclusion, the general rule, which is for staking and mining, is today is always better than tomorrow. For staking, the share rate goes up 0.03% every day based on the day before. So it's better to stake it today than tomorrow. Also, Consider doing bigger stakes to maximize the bigger pays more bonus. And if you want to stake more than 100 billion TitanX, consider splitting the stakes because the maximum bigger pays more bonus is capped at 8% at 100 billion. And if you want to participate in Hyper, which hasn't launched yet at the time of the recording, rather than sitting with your liquid TitanX, consider max staking it so that you can earn the ETH since you can burn your stake for Hyper.